After a few months spent sailing in Greece and seeing my friends and family in Hertfordshire, I have returned to my rural countryside. As you can imagine, it has changed immensely over the period of time I wasn't here. The beauty in traveling and not staying in one place for very long is that when you return to where you came from, the change in seasons and what goes with that, the change in nature around me, hits me on a much deeper level than as if I was to stay here and experience the change gradually. Granted, my cottage house is still the same on the inside, nothing has changed, as I'm yet to decorate it for the festive season. But what I'm talking about is not the indoors. What truly matters to me is the outdoors, the world that brings me happiness and peace. The animals, trees, plants, lakes and rivers, the smell of fresh air, and everything else that the nature brings. Outside is where I spend a vast majority of my free time, and it's where I'm at my happiest. Living in this village is what you would consider a true definition of slow living. Most of my neighbors are farmers. There are no major cities anywhere close to here. There's a bigger town within 20 miles distance, but not a place you would consider a city. People live slowly, growing and harvesting their own food from their farms, vegetable crops and orchards. My grandma plants and grows her own crops here every single year. I love feeling connected to the outside world and being close to nature. In fact, you'll probably never see me living in any major city for a longer period of time. I might visit for a few days, but not live in a city center. Forests, jungles, remote islands, mountains, fields, and being at sea. These are the places that feel home to me in the heart. Why then don't I think I fit within the perfect description of slow living, when I've just described it, what I believe, quite accurately? Well, it's because I love to travel all the time. I am a full-time traveler hoping to visit every single country in the world one day. But I will always come back to this village. You know, I believe the way I hope to travel is exactly what slow living means to me. I don't know if any of this will make sense to anyone else, but when I travel, my week feels like a few months. A month can feel like a few years. When I travel, I create the memories that stay with me for the rest of my life. And that way, I really feel like I make the most of my life and the time spent on this planet, as in my own perspective, it allows me to live for much longer and learn a lot more about myself and the world around me as I go. The only way I can describe it is that when I'm in the new places that I haven't been to before, my days look completely different one from another, and that when I try new things, I avoid having the routines. The routines that we have in our lives often make the life seem to go faster, especially if it's work routines. When my days are filled with new activities and experiences that I haven't done before, in the places that I haven't seen, they stay in my memory without fading unlike the routines do. Also, the days just last longer when they are filled with a lot of different views, nature and experiences happening. Of course, you might be different. Life would be boring if we were all the same. But that's how I feel, and I've always felt this way. I think it's important here to note that by traveling, I don't mean going on holiday. To me, that's completely different. Secondly, the reason why I consider my ideal way of living, slow living, is because I feel my absolute best in the peaceful places where there aren't many people. I've always been this way, hated crowded places, and I didn't like the industrial cities. Don't get me wrong, I think big cities are nice to explore for a day or two, but not longer than that. Generally, the less people and the more trees and animals in the area, the better I feel. I used to say that my dream job would be to become the animal documentary filmmaker. I could easily spend months just surrounded by animals, observing and filming them. I know not many people get the privilege to be as free as me. Actually, I know a lot of people who would love to live their life closer to nature and further from the busy city life, but they cannot do that due to work obligations and limited job possibilities that the rural life has to offer. Until not very long ago, I wasn't quite sure how I would make it work either. I graduated university and then the pandemic hit. I was terrified of the lack of job prospects, especially the ones that would allow me to be free in where I was. This past few months, I have been educating myself intensely about the subject of financial freedom, finance, economics, e-commerce, and online businesses. I wanted to have an in-depth knowledge of many different ways to achieve it. How can I be free and not let the work define me and my life? It's what I kept asking myself. On average, I've spent about 10 hours every single day trying to figure it out. And that's when I've learned that the financial freedom can be possible for almost everyone. And it doesn't come down to luck or wealth acquired from your family, as those can be very variable and deceiving aspects of our lives, and that even if we have them, they can leave you at any moment. I believe the key to being free is having the knowledge about the financial freedom and the ability to put the significant amount of work upfront into the various ways of achieving financial freedom before it pays off. Now I want to share my knowledge with you, and I've been writing a course all about it. Although this channel will always remain about my personal life and travels, I think I may also start another YouTube channel all about finance and freedom, as well as releasing my course. I hope all of these things can inspire you to be free also, as I believe everyone deserves and should live their life just the way you've dreamed of. Please let me know in the comments if that's something you would be interested in, if you care about the topic of financial freedom. I hope you all have a lovely festive season.